Next question. I'm gonna continue with the issue of trust. Secretary Clinton, on the night of the attacks in Benghazi, you sent an email to your daughter, Chelsea, saying that Al-Qaeda-like group was responsible for the killing of the Americans. However, some of the families claim that you lied to them. Here's Pat Smith, the Mother Information Officer, Shan Smith. Let's listen.
Hillary and Obama and Panetta and Biden and all of Susan Rice all told me it was a video when they knew it was not the video. And they said that they would call me and let me know what the outcome was.
Secretary Clinton, did you lie to them?
You know, look, I feel a great deal of sympathy for the families of the 4 brave Americans that we lost at Benghazi. And I certainly can't even imagine the grief that she has for losing her son. But she's wrong. She's absolutely wrong. I and everybody in the administration, all the people she named, the president, the vice president, Susan Rice, we were scrambling to get information that was changing literally by the hour. And when we had information, we made it public, but then sometimes we had to go back and say we have new information that contradicts it. So I testified for 11 hours. Anybody who watched that and listened to it knows that I answered every question that I was asked, and when it was over, the Republicans had to admit they didn't learn anything. Why? Because there had already been 1 independent investigation. There had been 7 or 8 congressional investigations, mostly led by Republicans, who all reached the same conclusions, that there were lessons to be learned. And this is not the first time we lost Americans in a terrorist attack. We lost 3,000 people on 9/11. We lost Americans serving in embassies in Tanzania and Kenya when my husband was president. We lost over 250 Americans, both military and civilian, when Ronald Reagan was president in Beirut. And at no other time of those tragedies were they politicized. Instead, people said, let's learn the lessons and save lives, and that's what I did.
Secretary Clinton, but what they are saying is that what the families are saying is that you told your daughter Chelsea one thing and a different thing to them.
Well, but Jorge, that makes my point. At the time I emailed with my daughter, a terrorist group had taken credit for the attacks on our facility in Benghazi. Within 16, 18 hours, they rescinded taking credit. They did it all on social media. And the video did play a role. We have captured one of the lead terrorists, and he admits it was both a terrorist attack and it was influenced by the video. This was fog of war. This was complicated. The most effective, comprehensive reports and studies demonstrate that. And look, as I said in the beginning, I deeply regret that we lost 4 Americans. And I, of course, sympathize with members of the families who are still, very much grieving. And I wish that there could be an easy answer at the time, but we learned a lot, and the intelligence kept improving, and we learned enough to say what we think happened at Benghazi.
You have 30 seconds, Senator.
Well, I'm not going to comment on the Benghazi tragedy, but I will say this. A series of articles in the New York Times talked about Secretary Clinton's role in urging the administration to go forward with regime change, getting rid of Gaddafi in Libya. Gaddafi was a brutal dictator, there's no question. But one of the differences between the Secretary and I is I'm not quite so aggressive with regard to regime change. I voted against the war in Iraq because I had a fear of what would happen the day after. Secretary Clinton talks about Henry Kissinger winning the praise of Henry Kissinger. I don't want Henry Kissinger's praise at all.
We're gonna take a break.
Taking a break. Vámonos a una pausa comercial y continuamos.